Hey everyone, welcome to our backyard. Right now the backyard's pretty bare, not much going on. We got the pool put up and we have a deck put up we did last year. I'll do maybe a video on a little bit later, kind of showing some details of how I built those. But this year we're going to focus on building some entertainment spaces outside our backyard. It's going to include a patio, a small retaining wall, so multi-tiered patio to take care of the elevation changes in our backyard. It's going to include a pergola, a fire pit, an outdoor kitchen, and then what we're going to get started on today is pouring a cement slab for our hot tub that's going to be here in a couple days. So I've already got to start on excavating some of the dirt, the way I do it, the easy way, or at least I think it's the easy way. And so we'll show you that and get it formed up and get some concrete poured. So let's get started. All right, so I mentioned that I excavate the dirt the easy way, and so how I do that is by first breaking up the ground with the tiller. You can see here I've already got a start on it. It slopes pretty good, so the patio for the upper patio is about 11 feet wide, and over that 11 foot it's sloped just about 7 inches, 6 to 7 inches or so, depending on where. So I've had to, dig out some dirt to try to level it off. You can see I've got my level in many spots, got zeros on the ground, and I've gotten it excavated back into here, and then up into the patio door. I still need to get done, haven't started yet. So how I do that, I use this Earthqauke tiller. I believe this is the Victory model, 16-inch. Had a video put together about assembling it. Assembly was pretty easy. Probably took about an hour by myself. I've now used it a couple times. I used it to till up my garden, which was extremely easy because it had already been prior tilled. But this is my first time using it on virgin soil. And I will say that it is awesome. It's amazing. It goes through it very, very easily. Now I will say how I go about taking the soil out, since it was sloped. I didn't want to go down too deep because I didn't want to excavate out more soil than I needed to, because if I did that, then it's just more rock I have to haul in. So what I did is I set the depth gauge pretty shallow. So I'm probably tilling at about 2 inches at a time. And I'll go through it and till out the 2 inches. I'll come back through then with my tractor and scrape out all that soil into a pile, load it up, and dump it over there for later use. And then I'll check my levels, my depths, and remark it, and then again take out another inch or two where it needs it. And then eventually through these means you get it pretty level. It's done a pretty good job. Extremely happy. I did this entire probably excavation, what you see here, probably an hour, probably around about an hour. So it goes pretty quick. It's probably not the fastest way to do it. If you have a skid steer, with the bucket that's able to do the digging for you, and you're a little bit more skilled than I am, then that's probably a great option for you. But with my tractor, I don't have a tooth bar on the loader. And I don't want to put the wear and tear on it to try and dig this soil out. So this is the way I've done it. It works pretty well. So after this, I need to excavate this area out down here quite a bit. Some locations up to 9 inches I have to get out of here for this lower level where the pergola, fire pit, and outdoor kitchen will be. So I'm going to use the same approach. It's worked well. All right, so here we have it. Again, I just think that tiller does a great job. Very quick. Set it around 2 inches. This is a really soft soil on the top, so it went down a little bit deeper than I had anticipated, which is fine because I'm going to take out probably about 6 inches and see how the ground feels there. This soil just feels a little soft. It was quite a bit easier to till than the rest of the soil I was excavating out over there. So, but yeah, very easy. About 15-16 minutes, tilled and shoveled it out. Got 2 loadfuls out of here. But I think I did find the builder's dump where they threw all their garbage while they built our house. So I found lots of remnants of things. I found pop cans and Gatorade bottles, a whole bunch of things. But yes, so we'll get those out of here. So let's go get this dumped and get back to it. Alright, so now that we have the first kind of cut of that dirt removed, roughly around 3 to 4 inches, I want to go down about 6 inches in that area, sloping away from the house, from right to left, and also from the house back into the yard. So any water that does get under the deck will run away from the house effectively. So the tools I use for that are 2 things. First one is this, I believe it's a Johnson brand. Yes, Johnson. Rotary laser level. It's not, I guess, a laser level, it's a rotary laser. And so what this does is when you turn it on, this top portion spins in a circle, and there's a little red laser that shoots out. And that will then, as long as it's level, shoot a flat, horizontally flat, level line across your work area. Now this particular laser level is not a self-leveling unit. They make those out there. I recommend you get those because it's a pain in the butt to level and keep level. But as you can see, there's a bubble here and there's a bubble here with adjustments here and here that you need to make sure that bubble is level before you shoot any of your elevations, because if you don't, all your numbers are worthless because they are not level. And the whole point is to make sure that your grade and the numbers you're reading are accurate. All right, so the other device you're going to want to use with the rotary laser is this laser detector. This happens to be a Bosch brand, and this grading stick that it attaches to. These two together, along with the rotary laser, is going to allow you to shoot the elevation across your entire job site pretty easily. And so you're going to get pretty precise. I think this particular device is somewhere around an 1/8 inch or so off, and it really is about how close you get to level to being level that really determines that. So so quick how-to on how I use this. It's probably not the right way necessarily, but it's how I do it. It works for me, and so I'll share how I use this. So the first thing you need to do is find the reference point on your site for all other measurements to be based from. It doesn't necessarily have to be the highest point, it doesn't necessarily have to be the lowest point, but it just has to be a point that is going to work for you to base points from. So things that are higher than it will be, you know, higher plus in elevation. Things lower will be negative, lower in elevation. And so it doesn't really matter necessarily what that is for your project, but just make sure that once you determine it, that location, that spot doesn't change. And then that also, that rotary level never changes throughout your project, because if your reference point or that laser changes, you have to reshoot the entire site again to rebaseline all your levels, all your elevations, because if either one of those change, it basically makes all your other measurements null and void. So you got to start over. So that's important. All right, so how do we set this up? Turn the camera around. All right, so the first thing you'll notice is this stick has a bunch of numbers on it, on the back of the stick and also on the front of the stick. So how I use it, 99% of the time, I am looking at the back of the stick. I'm behind it usually on taking measurements. It works for me. Not necessarily probably the right way, or not how everyone does it, but again, it works for me. So this particular receiver clamps onto the grade stick, and so there's a couple ways you can use this. Most people probably will unscrew this and slide the receiver up and down the grade stick until they start hearing the beep. And so if I slide it down, you're going to start hearing the beep. There you go. And that beep means that the receiver is now starting to detect that laser from the rotary laser. So you can't unscrew this and slide it down. My little knob fell off, so it's hard for me to unscrew this. And so what I do, I have it permanently at this location, which is right at the bottom of this, is at 4.5 inches. So I always then just base my elevations and readings from this point, and then I slide the stick up and down. So the receiver is always at the same spot on the stick for most of my jobs, and then I slide the stick up and down to determine how higher and lower one particular area is from another. So to demonstrate, this is my reference point, and so I'm going to go ahead and measure this. So I'm going to slide the stick down, and you're going to hear it start beeping. Okay, so the top red light is starting to beep, and you get that audible tone. That's telling me that I am still, the reader is still too high. So I'm going to continue to bring it down. So it's hitting the bottom part of the reader. So I'm going to keep sliding it down, keep sliding it down. Eventually, you're going to change. So now the other red light switched and changed tone. So that means I need to move it up. So let's slide it up a little bit. And eventually you're going to get a solid beep. There you go. And that solid beep means the reader is perfectly in the line, in the center, and that is the measurement you want. All right, and so the one thing to keep in mind is important is to make sure you try and keep your grading stick as plumb as possible, because even though I was here and that's dead on, if I move the stick just a little bit, you'll notice that that reading quickly goes out of whack. So you want to make sure it's as straight as possible to make sure you get your accurate measurements using this. All right, so now that I have my top of grade, I want my grade by the door to be a 1/2 inch higher, if not an inch, so the water flows down this way and away from the house. So I want my finished grade to be a 1/2 inch higher, which means on the stick it's backwards. That means I want the stick to read my finished grade at about 5, because it's higher. So that means the stick will be further up in the air, which means the stick actually becomes shorter. So it's a little bit backwards. A higher elevation from your reference point is actually going to be smaller in numbers. A lower elevation, such as down here, is going to be much, much higher in numbers. So I want, this is that's my reference point. I want to be 1 inch taller. My base, I want to dig out, needs to be equal to the paver height, which is 2.5 inches, plus the inch of sand, that's 3.5 inches, plus how much gravel, crushed stone I want to throw in here, which is about 6 inches. So 6 plus 3.5 is about 9.5 inches or so I want to excavate down. So if I wanted to end up at around 5.5 or 5 minus the 9 or so inches, that would put us around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that means I want the dirt, I want to be at the bottom of my excavation point, needs to be around a 2. So I know if I dig down and I am at this elevation with the laser, after I add my 6 inches of base, my inch of sand, and my 2.5 inches of pavers, I'm going to be right at the grade I want. So let's go back here and see where I'm at. All right, so here, so notice you have to be in line of sight of the rotary laser, which I am. So that's a good key to keep in mind. When you place your rotary laser, you have to make sure that all points in your job site that you're going to need to get an elevation on is within line of sight of that rotary laser. So I'm just going to pick this point here to start. You notice I'm already getting a signal, so it's at the top. So that means that the stick is too high, so I'm going to keep bringing it down until I get a solid beep. And up a little bit, right there. Roughly right there. A little bit down. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this off so it stops beeping. But you notice the reading is about 9.5. So for my top grade where I want it to be, right in this area, I'm down here. I wanted it to go down to, I need to get down to a 2. All right? So if I need to get down to a 2, I need to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to go down another 4.5 inches in this particular spot. And so what I will do is grab my marking paint, and I'm going to write a 4 right here. So I know when I'm tilling again and excavating, digging dirt out, that I know I need to go down 4 inches in this spot. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. So I just used the Rust-Oleum marking paint. So I'm just going to go down here and just write a 4. There we go. So there, that way I know it's not precise. Excavating the soil, you want to get it pretty close as you possibly can, but it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, because your stone that you're going to haul in will help set your base grade for you. So just to do one more, so I'm going to move over to the other side of the walkway here and try to shoot this. I'm guessing it's going to be pretty close to 4 as well. All right. All right, so right about there. All right, so you can see it's a little bit deeper in that area. I've dug out a little bit more. So in this particular area, from 11, I just need to go to 1, 2, 3. I just need to get down to 3 more inches in this particular area, and I'll be at the base grade that I need. That after I haul in my rock, my sand, and my pavers, that I'm going to be at the right grade that I need, so the water runs away from the house effectively. So I'm going to go ahead and get my paint, mark that with a 3. I'm going to do the rest of the area so I kind of know where I'm at, and then I'm going to grab the tiller again and do another cut and see if we can get closer to our base. All right, let's get at it. So about 15 or so minutes later, I got this level all excavated. Next level down. I'm pretty close to my target elevation. I have a couple inches maybe here and there. And to do that, I'll use the tiller again, but instead of just going down as deep as I can with that, low adjustment, I'll be kind of just holding the tiller up and more manually adjusting and managing the height of its tilling depth more manually, so I don't dig down too far in the spots that are pretty much already at grade, but I have definitely a little bit of work there to do by the door. Come through, clean up the edges. You can see I still need to get out to this edge here. And so I'll come through with the shovel and manually clean all that up. But as you can see, 2 loads, so I got 1 load to dump, but using the tiller in tight spaces like this where you can't get a machine in, if you have a bobcat, can't get it in, a skid steer, place like this where you can't just scoop it out with a machine, the tiller really saves the back. Again, I've used it for the patio over there that I'm excavating for, and this walkway, and it makes it way easier on the back. Old guy like me with a bad back, it's a savior. So highly recommend that tiller. I got this Earthqauke, I believe it's the Victory model, from Menards. I want to say it was probably in the $550, $580, somewhere in that range. Well worth the money in my opinion. So check that out. That wraps it up for this first video of the project. I wanted to come in, take out the soil for this walkway at the correct grade, use the rotary laser, used the laser receiver, the grading stick, made sure all this sub base that we came in and tilled out drains away from the house in both directions. So we got that done. So we are finished with this step of the project. Next video will be on coming in, bringing the landscape fabric, putting it down on the subsoil, compacting first, then putting the fabric down. Then we'll bring in some rock, compact it, and get the forms up for the concrete pad that our hot tub will sit on here in a few days. So check back. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.